Throughout the years, we've made more than 500 videos.
Some of them are bangers!
And others, well...
Today we're gonna cover some of the Squidmar videos that we've been working on for hundreds of hours,
but never ended up getting published. So let's talk about the drama,
Henry Cavill,
some of our biggest mistakes, and
some f***ed up, stupid mother Steve Anakin face gun. Or
in this week's episode of the most insanest videos Squidmar never published because they're either not good enough at making videos, or we couldn't finish them, or someone else fucked up. Let's go! What the hell? We're gonna nowhere, we're gonna miss the sky, we're gonna find ourselves in the afterlife. We're going nowhere, we're gonna miss the sky, we're gonna find ourselves in the afterlife. Lucas, let's go back to the beginning of this channel. Before the time of Lucas, I had made a video called The Ugliest Miniature in Warhammer History and talked about some of the most hated miniatures they've ever done, even though some of these were actually some of my favorite miniatures, such as Nagash and Ariel. The coolest thing is, after this video was published, Gary Morley, one of the sculptors that I talked about in the video, reached out. We started talking and he was excited to help me make a video where he would resculpt one of my favorites for my Wood Elf army, Ariel. This time, hopefully, he'd be given much more time than he did when he worked back with Games Workshop, and both the sculpt and the sculptor would be given the chance they never had in the 90s. I reached out to the illustrator Adrian Prado, and he made a really cool sketch for me. This would have been perfect for my Wood Elves. And then Gary started sculpting and didn't do one, but two, maybe even three different versions that he wasn't happy with. And the reason? Well, he's been retired for quite some time and he didn't feel like his hand did the thing that he wanted to do, and he also wanted the sculpt to be just as good as it could be. So with that, unfortunately, Gary Morley never finished remaking Ariel, and I didn't have a video to finish. I still have hopes that one day I will have my custom one-of-a-kind Ariel sculpted by Gary Morley. Maybe if you guys give him a ton of love in the comment section, he'll start working on the project again and I'll have my Ariel. Who knows? But that is not the only one. Let's hop on video number 2. This is a video that I started working on maybe 1 or 2 weeks after I started the Squidmar channel, more than 6 years ago. I ordered a bunch of static grass applicators and tools for that and started experimenting. I had 3D printed a small tree and wanted to do a really cool terrain piece for my gaming table. I started building the diorama, built a nice fancy tree using lichen from the forest and using the static grass applicator. The build was probably 80% done, and I just felt like the build was terrible. I did not like it at all at that time. I felt like it was lacking something. I don't know if it was the techniques used or if it was the end result that wasn't good enough. I can't really remember at this time, but if you check out the footage, it kind of looked okay. I guess it just didn't live up to the level that I wanted to deliver in the video, so I just threw it in the bin. And thus did the same with the video. But Lucas, I think it's time for you to tell them about the video that never got finished.
well, let's all talk about the Mordheim table. The massive project that was supposed to be the next big thing here on the Squidmar channel once we had finished the Warlord Titan project. We brought in all of our friends who were available at the time, flew them up to Umeå. We all started making amazing looking houses, terrain and buildings for the big freaking table. However, when we finally started working on the board itself, both me and Emil, probably drained from working too much on the Warlord Titan diorama, didn't enjoy it. And when you don't enjoy working on a project, you rarely feel like you want to continue doing it. And then you end up taking shortcuts, and then it ends up not looking as good as you want it to. And then all of a sudden it's forgotten and shoved in a corner in a warehouse somewhere in Sweden with Emil's locks on the door. And I'm not allowed to touch it anymore. Will it ever see the light of day again? Will we ever fondle our... I have the bestest of ideas. I know you want to see it, because I've seen comments about, oh, make Mordheim table great. If you guys give us 20,000 likes, mark my words, I will personally make sure that we finish the table and make the most amazing thing out of it.
I'm not sure I approve.
20,000 likes, people. It's not that hard. Oh, you accidentally subscribed as well? And in a few seconds, Emil will tell you all about an amazing story about a video that almost happened with one of the biggest art YouTubers on the platform. But before that, quick message from our lovely sponsor, Squarespace. Okay, people, I don't know how much of under a rock you've been living, but we are living in the 2025 of years. And today, if you really want to look like a professional, having a website to display your product, your art, your services, whatever, is the main way of looking like a true professional. And luckily for you, it's never been easier. Thanks to Squarespace and their award-winning templates, you can just pick, choose, drag and drop, and make sure that you have sexy looking website. And if you feel like this is too daunting, don't worry, Squarespace will hold your hand through the entire process thanks to their amazing new tool, Design Intelligence, combining their over 2 decades of design knowledge with freaking artificial intelligence. They will just hold your hand, make it easy. Even I could do it. If you need an example of a website that looks freaking amazing with barely any effort, check out our website. We've been using them for years now, and I mean, honestly, it just looks way too good for the small amount of time put into it. And if you want to try to make your own for free, head over to squarespace.com. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Squidmar, enter the code Squidmar, and get 10% of your entire purchase of our website and a domain. With that said, let's move on to Emil's next story.
But now I want to talk about the video that I am most sad about it not happening. 5 years ago, I got to know one of my favorite YouTubers, Jazza. He pitched me and Scott from Mheim to do a relay miniature diorama, meaning that we would each do 1/3 of every diorama and then just send the next part to be finished by the next painter. Meaning that we'd start with building and converting miniatures, sending it to the second person who would paint it up, and then to the third person who had to build a diorama around what had already been done by the other two. Great freaking video idea. The video started out great, but ended up never getting finished due to conflicting schedules. It just ran out in the sand, as the Swedish saying is. I felt like I had the best idea ever. My plan was to make Scott and Jazza into vampires and vampire hunters, because Scott loves vampires and Jazza, well, I don't know. He's cool as a vampire hunter. So I asked Loot Studios to design me the coolest miniatures you could ever do based off them both, so it really looked like them both. I 3D printed them and sent them to Jazza, but unfortunately it stopped there. I did, however, get a box sent from Mheim, and this is the miniature that he made from the video. This one has been unopened for, I think, 4.5 years, and I'm kind of interested in opening up and seeing what did Scott send me all those years ago. I see I see he stuck to the same theme. He made a vampire, like a fully converted with oh, that's so cool, look at the cloak. A really awesomely kit-bashed miniature. He sculpted some chainmail on the side. Man, this would have been awesome to paint. But I guess it never happened. Jazza, Scott, you f***ing pieces of f***ing shit. If you ever want to make this video happen again, DM me and we'll pick up the video again. It would be so much fun.
Okay, people, so back in the days, I got my hands on a massive box of Lumineth Realm Lords. I don't know how, I don't really know when, but I ended up having it. And all of you know that, Lumineth Realm Lords not really cool looking. They have cows on their heads. So I thought, what better way to make use of this awesome army than to turn them into wood elves? And that was what I was just gonna do. I was gonna turn this bunch of minis into the most awesome looking wood elf army anyone had ever seen. My plan was to strip out all of the Lumineth Realm Lord details, and then because wood elves they have arrows and bows, we need to change out the bows to the burning bows from the Sisters of Avalor. And then topping things off by making the most awesome forest bases ever seen. And I started building and converting my minis, and I got to make about 1 unit, and it took just so much time so that it just never really had a chance of becoming a video, because then I think I still would be working on it to this date and we still wouldn't have a finished result. Do I ever feel like wanting to go back to the project? I mean, wood elves are really cool, but I feel like by the time I finish it, Games Workshop will release some cooler minis and I will just hate myself for spending so much time. So, depending on the money you give me for doing it.
None. One of the coolest things that could have ever happened to this channel is to do a collaboration with Henry Cavill. And during the Warlord Titan video series, we managed to get hold of my man's agent. They weren't completely turned off by the idea of doing some form of charity collaboration for the series, but the contact was also during the big actors strike some 3-4 years ago. So again, things never happened. We went on with the video series. We also were kind of slow to respond to some of the emails, so we never got to get either declined or accepted to make something cool with Henry. But there was at one point something like a 0.01% chance that we might actually be able to do something with him for a video. Unfortunately, this was not that time. We've had a lot of you asking, did we ever get hold of him? Did he ever talk about making it part of the video? No, that actually never happened. But we did manage to get hold of the agent. At this time though, it's probably a 0% chance, but Henry, if you ever want to do some promotion for maybe a TV series or just paint Warhammer with us, let us know. We'd love to do something with you. Lastly, we have not one, but 2 army projects that never happened on the channel that I've somewhat kind of promised to do. We got the retro space orc army that I probably have done 3-4 parts of on this channel to some extent, talking about the army or started painting on it. But I couldn't quite figure out how I wanted them to look, and I couldn't find a way to paint them fast enough to paint like a full army of 150 orcs. Meaning that every time I painted on it, I wasn't quite happy with either the end result or with how fast it would be to paint the minis. And thus they've been in my retro boxes for at least 3 years without even being looked at. And I kinda still at some point want to do this army, but I don't know when that's gonna happen. I have painted a bunch of minis, or like parts of some of the minis, as you can see here. I guess you guys have to let me know in the comments if this is something you want to see in the future. And then of course we have the Seraphon Tomb King's Army Bash. Kit Bash, I don't know what to call it. This one I did start working on in a video, but the problem was sometimes when we make videos, we're in a tight schedule. So maybe we have to figure out the idea on a Monday and start painting on a Tuesday. So we decided on the video, but I did not have a fully clear plan of how I wanted to design each miniature and how I wanted to paint them. What style did I want them in? So unfortunately, after working on it for that video, I wasn't at all happy with how it came out. And the minis have been in a plastic bin ever since. Oh, this one is tough. Do I want to finish it? I do not know. Maybe, maybe not. Again, let me know what you think about it. Is it a cool idea? Yes. Do we want to see it finished? You guys decide. So, how do we feel about that?
I get so anxious knowing that we have so much things that we don't finish.
Yeah, and it's so many hours too. Like I don't think people know that like all of these videos together is probably like 300-400 hours, and never like that's just in the bin.
Yeah, like the Mordheim table, we brought up so many people, so that like not only did we spend 8 hours each for 5 days, we also had 6 other people spending 40 hours. Oh my god.
Yep. Do you have a favorite that you would like to finish out of these?
No.
The answer is no. I do want to finish the Space Orcs, I think. That's the one that I would like to finish at some point. And the Ariel Mini, if I ever come to that point. Massive thanks to this week's sponsor, Squarespace. You all follow our link in the video description and try to build your own website.
And also our amazing patrons. Without you guys, we literally could not do this full-time for a living.
If you like our painting tutorials over on Squidlybits, we post those a week in advance over on our Patreon. So if you want to learn even quicker how to paint minis, you can go join the Patreon. With that said,